Hey everybody, it's John here from VidGamiac.com. Welcome back to another episode of VidGamiac vs. Import, where we play Japanese games and sometimes visual novels, where we will do achievement guides / let's plays. Today we are covering Steins Gate Chapter 6. Alright, what you want to do is you want to make sure you make a save before starting the chapter. So that's going to go in save slot number 3 of the saves. We're not going to delete because we can always back them up for the sake of achievements. Anyways, you're going to have to do 2 playthroughs of this chapter for various reasons. That is why we made that save. So in this playthrough, when Fatso here gives you this question, you want to make sure you bring up your phone and then call a very specific person. You want to make sure you call this person right here. So the second to last option, make sure you call them, and then you can go back to fast forwarding. Whenever the Fatso dude talks and gives you the little antenna logo, the text moves very, very slowly. So that's a sign that you need to use your phone. Now, you should get an achievement if you are going this path for 20 gamer score right around here. And just continue to fast forward and stuff. Some more stuff's going to happen. That guy gets run over by a car, and you should get an achievement for that because, you know, why not? So that's another 20 gamer score to the collection. And then keep fast forwarding. We're going to have a lot of these Back to the Future DeLorean time gauge things. So get ready for that. But the second choice you have to make is once you see these two. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you bring up your phone, and then you call this person right here. So the last person on the contacts list, make sure you call them, and that should call up Kimono Girl and Hat Girl, and then you have to talk to them at the temple, and then just continue to fast forward through the whole game. Basically, you're trying to beat the game at this point. The game ends at this chapter if you choose to go this route. So there's going to be a ton of those DeLorean transition cards. Anyways, this chapter with fast forwarding takes about 7.5 minutes or so it's quite the long chapter, but you don't have to make any choices, and you get 3 achievements along the way. Granted, if you've been following all of our guides, which I hope you have been, because these were a pain to do, trying to figure out the Japanese guides through text and then translating them into video so you can enjoy this game with a visual reference, because using a text guide was a huge hassle trying to determine all the different types of Japanese characters and finding out where they go in the game. So that was enjoyable. But overall, I've had fun playing this game. Interesting story. I'm sure when I watch the English translation, everything will make sense, just like Chaos Head did. But besides the point, easy gamer score. At least this game is one of the harder ones. So in the future, when we play the later visual novel games, the choices are going to go back to being a lot easier. This game is a rare exception of a visual novel that is pretty convoluted and complex in its story structure. But anyways, as you can see here, there are some points in this where the game will stop your fast forward. Just keep hitting A, so you can't really just hit fast forward and leave the controller there. You actually have to hit A on some segments, but just skip until you get to the end of the game. As you saw there was the 50% CG mark. You should get it around there if you've been following our guide, and that's another achievement to add to the collection. The first of 3 we're getting on this first run-through of Chapter 6. Once again, we're covering 2 playthroughs of Chapter 6. This is the playthrough that ends the game at this chapter, and the second playthrough is going to continue on to chapters 7 and 8 and all that nonsense, but we'll cover those chapters in later videos. Obviously, this video is already like 10 minutes long because it covers 2 playthroughs of chapter 6, and yeah, so you got Jumpsuit Girl here who's going to slow our progress down by killing our fast forward. And luckily we got it back, and it's going to keep fast forwarding. The satellite dish crashed on the roof of this apartment building here. That's all bad. But if if the science adventure games have taught me anything, you can convert it into an apartment building. I mean, the dude in Chaos Head like lives in a shipping container, so these characters should live like in that satellite. But anyways, got Fatso here, the dude with like 3 expressions, and lots of talking. But the game is coming to an end. Another satellite crash, or maybe the satellite crashed further into the building. Or maybe this is just the bottom of the satellite. I don't know. It's up for debate. But some glowing stuff's gonna happen. I guess it's radioactive. And just keep skipping through this. And yeah, so we have some kanji stuff. Kanji. Lots of kanji. Anyways, continuing through this, lots of stuff's gonna happen. We're back in the computer lab, and the game's gonna kill our fast forward again, but we have the A button to try to power through this, but this is a pretty long segment of tapping A. Recommend getting a turbo controller for some of these storybook games, especially games like Time Leap, where it doesn't have fast forwarding for your first playthrough. You actually have to play the game before they give you the fast forward option, which is kind of lame. But the end of the game's coming up, as you can see here. All the characters join a bicycle gang, and that's how the game ends. Even the fat guy gets his fat ass onto a bicycle and joins the bike gang, and everyone has fun. And yeah, everyone lived happily ever after getting a bicycle. And that's gonna happen. And achievement for reaching the credits, 5 gamer score, and just let the credits run through. It takes about 2.5 minutes. I'm gonna cut that out because it's, you know, credits and no one likes watching those. So once the credits finish rolling, you should get an achievement for beating the game. It's going to be for 50 gamer score, and this should kick you back all the way to the title screen after all of that. So what you want to do is you want to load up that save we made at the beginning of this chapter. So make sure you load up your chapter 6 save, and then you want to go through the game again, this time making slightly different choices. Obviously there's only 2 choices in that other playthrough, so we're going to make kind of the opposite of those 2 choices. So when Fatso tells you to call someone, you want to just skip it. And it's kind of a pain because he takes forever to go through his dialogue spiel. He's like, call someone, and you're like, no, I'm trying to get an achievement and continue the story. But if you keep hitting A, you'll eventually get through it and be able to fast forward again. And then you have to fast forward all the way to the end of the chapter, which takes a very, very long time. I think it was about 7 minutes. So another 7 minutes of just going through dialogue boxes, and you just want to keep hitting fast forward even when they stop you with the red option, which means use your cell phone. We're just going to ignore that because we're trying to continue the story. So even if the game stops you, just keep hitting A until the game will let you fast forward again. Fast forward, and the choice will not come until the very end of the chapter, and it's going to take you a very long time, so have a little bit of patience for this. I thought I messed this up, and I thought the story was just going around in circles, but the choice you have to make is at the very, very end of the chapter. So just keep waiting for it. It will come eventually, and thanks to this video, you'll know exactly when it comes. And that's the reason why we're making these videos, so you have a visual cue on where to make your choices. And I find that a little bit better than using a text guide, because a text guide, you're pretty much just reading and waiting for the next choice to happen, but you might miss it because you weren't paying attention, or you were paying too much attention to the text guide and not enough attention to the game, and that's where video guides can come in handy. Alright, so the choice will happen at the end right here when we're back in the computer lab, and the screen looks like this. All you have to do is just hit the X button when you see that last choice, and then bring up your cell phone, hit the A button to send the message, and that should put you on the right track in order to continue the story and give you the Chapter 6 achievement for 10 gamer score. And that's it for now. Don't forget to check back soon for Chapter 7, and that's it.